Okay, first step, we've got our water up to about 150 degrees. So we've got almost 4 pounds of grain that's going to go in this, and this is the first step of steeping the grains to make your grain tea. It takes about 30 to 35 minutes, and from there we'll start boiling. But first, we have to make our tea, and that's a lot of grain. All right, so our grains have steeped for about 40 minutes. And that's in about 145 to 155 degree water. And what we're left with is this tea, and you soak the grains in about 2 gallons of water, and then lift the grains up onto a strainer like this, and then you pour some really hot water over the grains, and it's called sparging, which essentially means to rinse the grains, and it's rinsing any sugar that's left on the grains that hasn't got out into the tea, which is officially called wort at this point. It's W-O-R-T. We're going to add our liquid malt extract, which is basically malt syrup. For this recipe, we are going to add, you can see it's pretty thick, we're going to add about 7.5 pounds of liquid malt extract. That's going to be added into our hop tea, which is the wort right now. I'm going to add in about 3 pounds of it before the boil, and then boil it for 60 minutes, and then at the end I'll add in about another 4 pounds. Let that sit for 20 minutes. That'll pasteurize it. So this is after the boil. Alright, this is my favorite part of beer. This is the hops. The hops are what add the aroma and the bitterness to beer. Kind of looks like guinea pig food, but it's really not. And if you smell it, it has a very, very bitter aroma to it, and that's what gives a lot of the aroma and flavor to your beer. And what you do is you just dump it in, and then it boils for an hour. Okay, this is what you want. You want a nice, good, healthy boil. Okay, we've completed our boil, and what we're doing now is we're trying to cool down the wort. We need to get it down to about 100 degrees or so, and once that's done, we will dump it into this bucket that's been sanitized and cleaned, and it has some cold water in it, and then we'll top it off to 5 gallons, and then we'll add our yeast. Okay, this is our yeast packet. For people who make bread, it's not too much different of a process of you take your dried yeast. This is some water that was boiled to sanitize it, and you let it cool to between 80 and 100 degrees. And then you pour your dried yeast in it to rehydrate your yeast. And it's obviously very rehydrated right now. It's like a slurry. And that will get dumped into the wort, and that's the powerhouse of the beer. That's what those are all, millions and millions of yeast cells that will digest the sugar that's in the beer, and their byproduct is what becomes the alcohol that's in the beer. Okay, so here's our finished product.